Hello, everybody. It's me,
And I'm you.
and welcome to Two Guys, Same Person. Well, hey there. Nice to see you. How you doing?
Doing all right. How are we this morning?
We're good. It's a bit chilly today. We've had some nicer weather up here in Chicago. It's going to be a chillier weekend. Speaking of the weekend, we're going to be heading out to a campsite in the area for Friday night and Saturday night. Spend some time with our family out in the woods. But then we will be back for new episodes to come out on probably later in the day, Sunday, and absolutely a Memorial Day special on Monday.
Rad.
And I know that we've got some TGSP radio hits that are going to be
Bangers.
dropping here in the next couple of days. But beyond plugging our own stuff, what do you want to talk about today? Well, I'm glad you brought up TGSP radio, simply because today I want to talk about the creative struggle.
Interesting.
Tell me more. Well, you know exactly what it's like in here with me, us. So when I have an idea, I put it down in whatever raw form that it kind of shows up in, be it music, a podcast episode, skits, whatever. But I'm constantly trying to block out imaginary thoughts from everybody else that then might even metastasize into actual criticisms when I show somebody something that I've made.
So you're already anticipating rejection?
I wouldn't say rejection, more than I guess I don't want anybody to touch it. I had this idea. It's kind of like a little baby. Now, my wife is the one who made an actual baby. I'm not comparing a funny little podcast to creating brand new life. But I do feel an emotional connection to this idea that kind of came out of nowhere because it's the rawest sentence that I can say, I believe. When I'm talking about something, I'm kind of half preparing it in my mind, whereas an artistic creation is just raw me and emotions. And when people want to touch it and change it and have opinions about it, I'm kind of not excited about that, to be honest.
Right. Being the other side of you, I know what you mean.
But to kind of clarify, at times it can almost feel like somebody is trying to tell you how to raise your kids, and you're going to have an emotional reaction to that, even if they're right. But yeah, it's something that's yours, and you want to be able to be in control of it because maybe the rest of your life somebody else has had some semblance of control in your decision making. So would you maybe connect the creative process simply to a broader decision making process? What do you mean? Do you think the creative process is simply a decision making process? No. I think decision-making is a massive part of the process, but I don't decide when I wake up and I am inspired to grab a guitar and blare out some heavy metal. I don't decide that it's time to wake up. Usually it's an alarm. Usually it's just a body function that happens because I've had enough or too little or not good enough rest. But then the next step, kind of hearkening back to yesterday's episode where we talk about momentum starting the schedule rather than being able to schedule that momentum, the spark has to happen first. And then I start making decisions. You mentioned inspiration. And that's a famous evasive muse for a lot of people. What's your approach to finding inspiration? Constantly looking for inspiration, taking in a bunch of media and life experiences and work experiences and conversations that I have with people, and I'm constantly looking for a hook of something that's going to inspire me. We didn't make these giant human leaps and bounds as we grew as a species without looking for these leaps and bounds. We didn't accidentally just get inspired to go to the moon. That started from a tedious process of trying to figure out who we are, and what we can do, and where we're going, where we exist, why we exist. It's all part of the process.
Okay.
So if we're going to talk about the struggle in regards to creativity or perhaps the creative process, where do you think the major problems and traps lay for yourself and potentially others? Funny enough, I think it lays right where we're standing in our own mind. The problems that show up when you're sitting in front of a blank canvas is usually coming from inside you. Now, there are no absolutes. You can be starting a creative process, and maybe you have kids that keep running in, other distractions, things that keep happening, and there's a physical struggle to balance, your wants and needs within your life.
Yeah.
But we're talking about if you have unlimited time to sit and create, and feeling that blockage, that's you. That's kind of, you weren't prepared with your full idea. You don't know what your idea is. You're not feeling right. You're unable to kind of grasp at this concept that you might have sparked something earlier, but you don't know what about it. Oh, pillows. Pillows are cool. But what am I going to do with pillows? What was I trying to do there? I'm stuck. I'm going to sit here and think about it for a while. Okay. So let's get a little meta here. It is about 11:30 in the morning, Central Standard Time. We're recording this, hopping back and forth between the channels, talking and reacting, and generally trying to see myself as a separate person or guest. Yeah. But it feels a bit of a struggle today. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that and maybe tie it into the episode? Well, I'm thinking about the future already. I'm thinking, what if somebody doesn't like this? What if this conversation feels a little bit too graspy? Did I do any research to a specific topic? I'm worried about other episodes, trying to get myself away from future moments, things that aren't happening, things that might not ever happen, and just be here and create. But it's tough to not imagine what somebody's going to do, think, say, feel about this.
Yeah. Does it matter to you what people do, say, think, feel about this?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But I think we've come to the breaking point of the process where now that we have our tools and we can create and we are seeing these future problems, what are we going to do about it? And I think our answer, as we said kind of in our pilot, is to just do it anyway. So for one of us to get out of the other's way, or perhaps even join forces, maybe make a podcast, and get it done.
Yeah.
To whatever degree.
Yes.
And whatever reactions come or may not come.
Right.
Some people hate the Lord of the Rings movies. And I absolutely adore the Lord of the Rings movies. And that just is what it is. They happen to be a massive commercial financial success. I personally believe that they are also a artistic success. But I happen to know one specific person in my life that hated them because he was such a massive fan of the books. And he believes that it's impossible to translate a book of that magnitude and that grandiosity into film because you're losing so much of the subtext. I would even bet good money that if Peter Jackson walked in here right now and he was like, "Hey,
I wish
you can ask me one question about Lord of the Rings and I will answer it honestly," I would ask, did you ever doubt yourself in the process? And I'm betting that he would say, oh, absolutely. But we pushed past that and created what we wanted to create. Right. How many times has a stand-up comedian been asked, do you still get nervous? Or a famous musician who's been touring the world. We'll bring back Dave Grohl again. This guy has played anywhere and everywhere under every circumstance. He still gets nervous because there's that doubt. Well, God, I hope I do good. I hope I don't mess up. I hope I don't fall off the stage and break a leg. He's still showing something that he made. And that's scary. That's part of the creative struggle. Once you're at the end of it, is still having to show it to people. But he said in an interview that he's been sitting on maybe a song or two that he doesn't know what to do with it. There's a cool lick. There's a cool drum set. Maybe you've got your A section, your B section, but you don't know how to end the song. Sitting on it for decades. Maybe I'll sell it to this band because I can't figure it out. Everybody gets stuck in this creative struggle. So let's see if we can round this conversation out by talking about a way to get through the creative struggle. I don't know if I have a one-size-fits-all answer. I don't know if I believe in one-size-fits-all answers, but Abjectly speaking, the only way through something is through it. So you just got to do it.
Okay.
Help me explain what I mean by that. Well, it's like this episode. I'm sitting here making it. I have a loose idea of what I've wanted to talk about, but I have to sit here and I have to do it. And then I'm going to listen to it. And then I'm probably just going to release it. I don't want to sit here and forever edit, but there's going to be some times where I might get stuck on a word. I might mispronounce something. I'll go back and try it over. That's still part of the process, is smoothing and kind of actively editing my ideas, for me speaking. But yeah, getting it done, listening to it, and being okay with your end result and saying, okay, that was a complete idea. I finished an idea. Great. Let's go on to the next one. Or let's go back and before we release this and send it to everybody, let's make these changes to this technically finished idea. You might expand on that idea. You might add more to it, but you put down the idea in whatever form it is, and there it is. You have started the creative process, the creative struggle for sure. Okay, so then let's ask one last question here. When you feel stuck being creative, get everybody else's opinions out of the way. You're sitting at your canvas. You're in the zone. What do you do to create? I just start. Because I don't mind something coming out sounding stupid or ugly or gross, because that's only going to inspire a change. It's the spark. I'll keep mentioning it. It's the spark that starts the schedule of creativity in your brain. You hit a note on the keyboard. I don't like that note. You're already off to the races. You've already removed a potential block from your process by not liking it. Or you do like it, and that means you've removed all the other blocks that you maybe wouldn't have liked, so that you can pursue this one. You keep making that decision. You step away if you have to. Get yourself out of the process so that you can look at it objectively, and then reapproach it or start fresh. It's all made up. It's all you. It's all going to be fine. If people like it, they like it. If people don't like it, they don't like it. Right. And the process here is to just get it done. Then you can react to it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But maybe somebody's gonna like it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's Lord of the Rings is the other man's disappointing transition into film. You might create something that you don't like that people love. Famous example, Joe Walsh, who wrote Life's Been Good. Look it up on YouTube. You probably know the song. He, I believe, was quoted as saying, if I had known that this song was going to be as popular as it was, I would have written a better song. Which I can understand from a musician, like a performing musician standpoint. It's kind of repetitive, kind of simple. It gets stuck in your head. You have to play it for the next 40 years. But he created it, and it became this massive thing that we like more than he does. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we should take this conversation and its ideals and put it into practice. Let's wrap up the episode. Let's put it into a video format and upload it to YouTube and take our next step through the creative struggle. Absolutely. We hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to check out TGSP Radio. New track drop this morning. Another one probably coming out this evening. Hope you guys have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. And thank you for listening to Two Guys, Same Person. Bye. Thank you. Bye.